Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. And today, what we'll cover is the English part of the edible oil, cooking oils, which I did already in French. A little disclaimer before we move on. Just make sure that if you're on any medication, treatment, doctor's advice, please make sure not to stop any of those treatments and talk to him before making any changes. And now I know we're only talking about oils today, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of this. Just don't make any changes in your diet or whatever the treatments that you're on right now. Even though there was a lot of research done into this, it's still doctor's advice is always the best. All links and everything that I find in my research will be below on YouTube, PubMed, Musics, anything like that that I think is a good reference to what we should be using or linking to take a look if you want more information. Again, if you find this information useful, please share it. Share it with anybody. If you think it could help anyone, also to encourage me. You could look below. There's a little subscribe button on YouTube. Please subscribe to it. And I don't know what this flash is in the back, but it's reflecting off my back wall. But yeah, sorry about that. And if you want to be advised for any information that may, I may have a good idea, or when I post a new video, hit that bell. It's going to let you or advise you when I do post something else. I was before I start, this video, just to let you know, this is my first English video, so it's good for you guys to know. This is one out of 60 ideas that I have down on papers that we looked at. And some of these videos, like the next one in the English part, will be about water. And just that part for being water has about 5 different parts to it, because I'll try to keep these videos under 15 to 20 minutes, at most 25 minutes, in length. So just to be advised that if you look at that, some videos are 1, some videos may be 5 and more, could amount to about 300 different videos. So, and they're not too easy, because this oil video, this is my 3rd time. Some words were said. I always have my wife review it. She didn't like what she saw, so I started it. Have to put more energy into it. It's not that easy, but hey, I'm starting at this. I'm learning the ifs and don'ts about the new software, the sounds, if it doesn't sound too good, if the visual's not that good. Yeah, bear with me. I'm just starting to learn all this new software. So without any delay, let's review oils, edible oils. Now, a while back, there was what you call a list of the dirty dozen. Remember these fruits, vegetables, bad, fruits, what it is because it had too much GMOs or too much contaminants in there. Well, without saying, the oils did have their rap also. And these are a list of bad oils that were referred. Sorry, just adjusting my screen here. And yeah, for one reason or the other, they had their names in there, written all over magazines, newspapers, for one reason or the other. And most of us just took their word for it, but don't know why. Now you see Cola Vita is in red and bold, because I'll come back to that one. They did make some changes. Not saying that the other ones haven't, but these guys have changed the way that they extract the oil. So I'll explain that a little bit more. But moving forward, we see that cotton oil. This is my wrap on the bad oils. Cotton oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, they're all highly processed oil. Now, what does highly processed mean? Yeah, let me get into that in a few minutes. There's sunbeam oil, 16% saturated fats. Saturated fats, we know that too much of it is not good for us. It's not good for your health. It does something for your cholesterol. I'll get into that also. 50% of omega 6 versus omega 3, high levels of omega 6 raises your bad cholesterol. We'll also get into that. Canola oil, you hear that a lot. You see even pages sometimes you see on these people, even on TV, they talk about canola oil. It was really good. I'm sorry. I find it to be one of the worst oils around, even though it has a high amount of minerals in it, but nonetheless, it is a bad oil, and I'll explain why. Crisco sunflower oils has 5 times the bad fat that they use in it. Safflower oil, palm oil, 50% saturated fat, but not only that, the way they produce the palm oil is so bad for our environment. Yeah, it's one of the bad ones out there. And then grapeseed oil. That I wrote special oil on it because that also I will get into a little bit more explanation on that and how they've changed things around too. And then when you see light oil, it's just like you're using flour to make bread, and you see extra refined flour. You know it's being refined even more and stripped out of its minerals and vitamins. Same thing goes for your oil. When you see light oil, yes, kind of stay away from that. What makes a bad oil a bad oil? All GMO, highly processed, highly heated, are all highly inflammatory. What I mean by GMO, first of all, is genetically modified organically. Um, it's like they do with chickens, you know. It's like, there's not that our chickens are small and they're healthy, they're running outside. We want a bigger chicken, bigger breasts, bigger thighs. I got what did I just say? But anyways, we're talking about chickens here. Um, uh, yeah. So yeah, bigger chicken, a lot more meat to sell, so a lot more money. It's always about money. Same thing goes for anything that is like genetically modified organically. It will resist to more bugs. They have less damage. It will grow faster. It's going to be easier to get the oil out of it, and so on. But in this case, these bad oils don't only have a bad rap because of the GMO, but they have a bad rap because of the way they extract the oil from high heat, sometimes up to 400 degrees. And they use a product called hexane. The hexane product, just look a little bit below it. It's a chemical used for mostly extracting the oil from canola oil. Remember canola? That's why I don't like it. Soya bean oil and many other oils. But they say they extract all the hexane out of it afterwards, but it's not true. Test proves that there is still an amount in it. But yeah, whatever, FDA, Santé Canada, they approve it, like the amount of chemical that's bad for your health is passable. I apologize, but I just don't run for that. What you do is when you heat up the oils, you change the fatty acid of the oil from a polysaturated fat to a hydrogenated fat. Remember trans fats, which back in September 2019 was removed from, was removed. The companies have a year to 2 years, if I believe right, to remove all trans fats from our food from the market until they find something else to put in there. Because it's so bad, a trans fat will stay in your body for 50 to 51 days and probably more before your body's able to eliminate it. Now, if you eat it all the time and you use cooking oil all the time to, for your food, your body will never have time to eliminate it all. It's always going to be coming back, and this is when it causes issues a long time. There's before you guys think and start saying trans fats with meat and everything like that. Yeah, it's true. Meat does have trans fat, but it's not the same type of trans fat. It's not chemically done like this. Trans fats in meat will take like a week or two to get out of your body. But yeah, is it good? No. Is it that as bad as this? Not a chance. But it's still there. Hexen used for extracting, if we take a look at that, it's like formulations for glue for shoes, leather, roofing products, cleaning, degreasing a variety of items, and they manufacture textile with it. Pharmaceuticals were using it before, but they have started phasing it out in North America because of long-term toxicity that is created in our body. You can imagine in Europe it has been extracted since a long time. It has been phased out, should I say, since a long time now. So we seem to always be behind everyone, but at least they're making a good step forward. Moving on, I'm looking for my mouse again. Good oils. Good oils, they have their list too, and I've started checking them out to see why. And my wrap on good oils is olive oil, even though, yeah, they have a bad name, olive oil, because of a smoking point and the temperature, cooking temperature is not really high. And as soon as it starts steaming, it's, we call out cancer, cancer, cancer. I'll explain that in a minute. The extra virgin oil has more than 80% monosaturated fat. We'll talk about fats in a minute too, but monosaturated fats is one of the best fats around. Avocado oil is one of my best oils, which I use to cook. It's high in HDL, low in LDL, has a neutral taste to it, doesn't change the taste of your food. So it's a great oil because it's got a high temperature, like I said. Coconut oil has a high in lauric acid, short and medium chain fatty acid. Now that's a special term. Don't worry about it. It's probably one of the only food chains, coconut oil, that you'll find these terms, short and medium chain. There's not many out there. And they were screaming again, wow, coconut oil is like 50, 60, 80%, saturated fats. It's bad for you. But studies prove now that short and medium chain fatty acids are actually very good for your health. Is it an oil that I use to cook with? I did once in a while, all depending on my recipe, but I use the avocado oil because it's neutral in taste. Pumpkin seed oil I put in there because pumpkin seed oil is rich in vitamins and fatty acids, omega-3 very high and low in omega-6. But it's got that rich green color, nutty flavor, great for making salad dressings, things like that, because it does steam at very low heat. So it's not much of a cooking oil that I do. And ghee, used a lot in the United States, very little here in Canada. We don't have much of it yet, unless special stores. But ghee is like almost a pure, clarified, butter for those who can't tolerate animal protein. So all milk protein has been removed from this butter, and it generally has a very high smoking point. So one of the best, to tell the truth, but very expensive. And others. There's so many out there that I would not want to, cover them all unless, I get so much request to do it. But basically, I use those, very specific dressings or oils out there. Or, what you do, you combine it with something and you put your bread in it and you use it like to dip your bread in it or create a salad dressing because their tastes are very specific. Okay. Looking at good oils, what makes a good oil good? The first thing I look at is cold press. Cold press will not add any heat and will never transform your saturated acid because there's no heat added to it. But what basically you just all your seeds or your grapes are all put into this grinder and just the good old method. Yeah, do they extract 100% of the oil from it? No, that's probably why it's a little bit more expensive when you see cold press. But out of that, you keep all the antioxidants, you keep all the minerals in it. There's no change. So it's, to me, it's like the perfect oil, and if it doesn't have GMO, obviously, keep away from that. Expeller press is like the next best level. If you don't see expeller press or cold press, I'd say stay away from these oils. They've been highly processed and heated to extract all the oil. Expeller press is subject to just a little heat, and the chemicals are not that nocive. So that would be my second choice. A healthy oil should contain a lot of omega-3s compared to the omega-6. That again, I may explain in another video how these things vary and how we see, LDH in a way of seeing it as a bad thing, but it's really not as bad as we think. But that would be into another video. A good oil, rich in monounsaturated fats. Let me get into fats so you guys understand what type of fats there are. A quick little chart that kind of explains everything. Saturated fats, yeah, they're bad. They cause your bad cholesterol, LDH, to rise, and your good cholesterol to probably lower. All of that, the energy of your body to burn these fats, get rid of it, brings down your energy level by 11%. I'm not sure where they got that percentage, but if it is, that is a lot. I'm just thinking, let's just do a little mind thinking here. If, we hear people 40, 50, 60, 70 and up, it's like they do explain, wow, I have a lack of energy. And they seem to repeat themselves every day. He goes, I lose a lot of energy if I'm getting older. And sometimes, we're talking people around 50. They're already complaining of a lack of energy. Now, could you imagine if you didn't lose that 11% of energy and you kept it within your body? Your body didn't have to spend that extra energy to burn it. Now let's take a look at monounsaturated fat. They lower your bad cholesterol and raise the good cholesterol, and overall very easy to absorb in your body, and to help your vitamins too, in your body, because there are oil soluble vitamins. That's our video. And will give you 13% of total energy during your day. 13%. Wow. Let's hypothetically use an amount of 25%. Could you imagine if you ate perfectly, drank, and used every aspect there is in health, and you would gain 25% energy? Hypothetically, again. Could you imagine how that would do during your day? You go throughout your day, never tired, get home, start cooking, do whatever you have to, not thinking of when you're getting home, man, I'm just going to get on the couch and order myself a pizza because I'm burnt. Something to think about. Everything we put in our body, don't forget, everything will give us either energy or will take it away. Now, I got that perfect example of somebody who is an athlete here in Canada who gained 50% more muscle. But I'll explain that into inflammatory and different type of foods as we get into that video. Keep that for another time. Polysaturated fats, yes, they are good. They can lower your HDL and as much as your LDL at the same time, but they're good oils. Not as good as monounsaturated, but still very good oils. Going back to saturated fats, small and medium change. Yeah, there's small, medium, and long change. The small and medium are very nicely absorbed in your body and actually good for you. And they are saturated fats. That's what coconut oil has. And there's long, medium change, and there's saturated fats, which we just basically talked about. Long, medium, long change go into that category. Oil, good oil, olive oil. Remember they had a bad rap? Well, it's because of this, aldehyde. Probably because of Dr. Jekyll's and Hyde. Everybody was freaking out on that. Anyways, we won't go there. oxidization. What happens is when that oil starts steaming up and the formula changes because it loses an electron in most cases. And losing an electron, it's something that I'll cover in almost 4 to 5 of my different videos in the future, which is all over the place, and it means oxidization. I won't get into that now because that's very complicated. But what it means is as soon as it starts steaming up, that oil becomes oxidized and that goes into your body. So the percentage is so low that, it's not even worth it. Hey, your oil starts steaming, just lower the fire on it. There's no proof up to date that it's going to cause you a cancer. It just oxidizes, and oxidization is part of our world, of our life. You go outside, UV, the environment, your water, your chemicals in your house, your food, your medication, every little thing around that will oxidize your body. And we have a lot of systems in our place, in our body, that will cover and help us fix these. And I'll explain all that later, probably in my third video on water, coming up in a few weeks. And yeah, that's basically it. The percentage is so low, there's no proof on it or no university that proves that this is like going to be full cancer like they scream out there. It just takes sometimes when you see these things, they come out and tell you, oh, there's a 0.01% that they'll have a chance of creating this, and everybody starts making things about it, and it becomes have you known that this will cause you cancer? And somebody reading it doesn't know this, thinking that, wow, there's a 50% more chance I could get cancer if I do this. No, just lower the fire. Don't need to change your oil. Up to date so far. That may change. Good oils, chosen food. This is the one I used to cook. I love it. No taste, expeller pressed, no GMO, perfect. Just look around for those if you want to try it. This is one the oils that basically I approve. We love this oil. We cook with it all the time. Has a high smoking point. Even extra virgin oil, pressé à froid, cold press, just on top. Sorry, this was my French presentation. Colavita, remember this one? Bad rap, cold press. They're making steps in the right direction. My wife asked me a nice question. She goes, "Oh, this is great. Are they GMO?" Nope, I do not see any GMO sign on them. But at least, hey, a step in the right direction. If they become GMO one day, maybe I will take them. Then I fell with this upon this can, and I go, oh my goodness! I remember my mother using this to make the muffins, or things in those little round pans, Explosive, yeah, definitely, it's under pressure. Fire, interesting. Oh, there goes olive oil. Again, explosive, a little fire. Fire, it's the fire part that I really don't understand. Okay, but let's take a look in the back. Isobutane and propane used as propellant. Oh my goodness. You may want to stay away from this, as isobutane, propane, even if they're derivatives or whatever they are. I don't want that in my body. There must be better around. And yes, there is. Olive oil, extra virgin. There you go. No propellant. Explosive, yeah, because it's under pressure, but no fire. Hey, we won't have to burn I have in my, not my kitchen, but salon. The word just passes. When you're doing several language, you kind of miss words. Living room, there you go. Hey, my living room, my fireplace. Oh my goodness. in my living room. Won't have to start burning my propane. I looked around. There's coconut oil now that doesn't have any propellant, so just make sure. Take a look. You know, um, yeah, some will come around and have it cold pressed. Some will have come around also and have non-GMO. But for now, I haven't seen any, unfortunately. Smoking point. Well, olive oil, virgin, 330 degrees. Put it extra virgin, it'll probably go down too. It'll smoke in no time. Butter, 350. But butter doesn't really matter if you smoke it. It doesn't have the same properties. Then you take a look at pure olive oil, 430 degrees. That starts to be pretty good if you want to cook with it. But again, the oil I use, avocado, 480 degrees, great to cook. So basically, people, that's it. Hope you found this interesting, informative, and if you did, please share to anybody who you may think may require this type of information. And yeah, share the video. And if you want to stay on notice, hit that bell button below. It'll help you, get notified whenever I post up a new video. And thank you, and great day.